now between the guys?
Yeah, it's been going pretty good. I think as a coach, you probably want to and you guys too probably have something set in cement. But it seems like the competition level is, it's pretty rigorous. Like those guys, they have days where you leave practice and you say, hey, I think we're ready to kind of put it in maybe some ink. But then the next day it kind of changes. So it's evolving. I just think it's a testament to those guys and how they approach the battle and the preparation in the off season and how they've performed thus far. So TBD on that one, but I think we're in a good position. Coach mentioned earlier about the offensive line depth and some different arrangements that we've had. I feel pretty confident that all those guys can go in and operate the offense and do a pretty good job. So,
what could Oliver Miller's role be with the offensive line as a freshman?
Yeah, I think the young guys that I've been around that have played that early up front, it's always kind of like balancing as a coach. Like, okay, he is incredibly versatile. He's tough. He's smart. He has all the qualities to be a special player. You just don't want to stub his toe, move him around too much. So we've had long conversations about contingencies, and trying to put everybody in the best situation. But the good news is we were not siloed at all. I think in light of what Coach said, I think you'd be in a little bit more trouble if perhaps you had a bit more permanence in location for all those guys up front. But we really have been – musical chairs is like a bad way to describe it, but we have been moving around quite a bit. So Ollie is in that mix as well. And I think wherever he settles – he's going to be a great player, and he's going to be a great player from whenever he takes his first snap. So,
where have you guys kind of made the most progress since the spring? Collectively, or in a position group?
I still feel like there's a hint of that newness, as we're kind of getting acclimated as a staff. In the spring, I remember there being kind of like a point at which I felt like we hit our stride maybe from a situational standpoint, some exposure to whether it be third down or 2-minute or whatever, that it wasn't just about installing the plays anymore, that we were kind of applying it to what would be a game-like scenario. I feel like lately we've, we kind of came out really strong in camp, and then the defense kind of fought back, which is great. You want it to be like a heavyweight fight, but I think there's been lately we've seen more evidence of like how hard we want our guys to play, show up on the tape, and I think those two things together, because I feel like we have banked all that situational experience because we've operated really well in some of the end-of-game and end-of-half scenarios that we've had for our guys. But like how hard we need to play in light of back-to-back-to-back practices, I think that's something that we've gotten over the hump recently on that stuff. So I'm happy with that. I think we're in great shape. Yeah, I think really some of those things with Rodney maybe early where you didn't quite know kind of what he was going to be, those have kind of resolved. And I think we got 3 really good guys. I think everyone should be excited about the quality and depth of our running back room and moving those guys through and sharing carries when necessary. But Coach came in after our first scrimmage and made it pretty clear to us on offenses at every position we're going to play the best guys. And regardless of depth, regardless of whatever. So I wouldn't be I think that those guys I'm all confident that they'll be great in the game, each of them. But I do think that we're going to reward the hot hand too and see where they take us.
How are they different, 3 players?
I think maybe in the spring when we were talking about them is like Jay's just incredibly physical. I would not want to tackle him. I think I talked about him being on scout team, being like Ed Reed, run around. Just does everything super physical, extra effort all the time. Joe is just like a consummate vet. He's very smart, makes the right cut when you need to make the right cut, understands the scheme, understands pass protection. And Ronnie's he's like lightning in a bottle sometimes. So I'm excited about that group for sure. I've been around some really good backs, so I hope that carries a little bit of weight.
Just how has the scramble been in recent days, just knowing that you're without John and just moving forward there?
That's coaching, I remember pretty vividly one year in my career, probably our best player on offense went down in like a Wednesday practice, a one-on-ones. He just was running an in cut, and his knee went in the turf and didn't come out of it, didn't get up. And I remember being on the sideline, and one of the backups at that position, I had asked like a rhetorical question. I was like, well, who's going to play his position now? And he looked me right in the eyes like, I'm playing that position. And then he ended up catching a touchdown in the game at that position. So we're crushed for John. I think one of the things this time of year, you're trying to find the soul of your team. He's one of those guys that we depended on from he's part of the soul of our team, and he still will be, just in a different role. But I think coaching has taught me. When I was younger, I would get a little bit dejected about stuff like this, but this is why you train in the off season. This is why you treat them in the meeting room like they're all starters and ask them to prepare and get going when you need to kind of like get a lift when something like this happens. So,
Has Jerron Tibbs been a leader in the wide receiver room?
definitely, for sure. I think it's shared duty. There's Tibbs. I think every preeminent player that I've been around at a position group kind of shares a little bit of a implied leadership, but there's some veteran experience there in that room too. With Josh, obviously has played a bunch. B. White's kind of an elder statesman. He's been around the block a little bit. So I think right now, I think it'd be unfair to say it's just Jerron, but I do know I've watched that whole thing develop over the past however many months in station workouts and stuff. I do think that the guys look to him at times for some messaging, and he's been there to deliver it, and we need him to. So, yeah.
Also, how do you challenge your backup quarterbacks every day in practice when they know there's a established starter there in front of them?
I think we have a healthy competition culture, to be honest. I don't really see there being like a malaise in the reps that are given to the 2s or the 3s and it being like, oh, whatever, I'll just roll the ball out there. Like in this level of football, I think Coach said to the quarterbacks the other day, it was like, that job is rented. Every one of them, the job's rented. So like you got to do everything every day to maintain your status and seek to improve your career at every step of the way. So I think that there's healthy competition, and those guys are dialed in all the time.
Pretty young competition on the offensive lines interior. Just how do you see that shaping out right now?
Yeah, I'm happy. I think the physical development of a guy like Charlie or even Chase, when they came back after that little break right prior to summer conditioning in June, you could see like in those first couple of weeks they started to kind of transform a little bit. And I think there's guys up and down the line that look different in light of Coach Jacobs' work and how they've approached the offseason. So I think the physical development's for sure there. And now I would say as we kind of get into some of this game week prep is just seeing that group gel, however we decide to kind of like supply the depth and position guys as we get closer to game time.
You talked about the 3 running backs. You also have 3 really good ones at the tight end position. Just your thoughts on the competition there, how they've handled things. Obviously, you're going to want to use those guys a lot.
Yeah. Oakley has been one that I have just kind of marveled at. Just 'cause I didn't get to see a lot of him in the spring either. And you just see him, he's always very conscientious about his like work and the things that he's doing, how he eats. He actually spoke to the team this morning and just did an incredible job talking about his journey and how his scout team reps as a freshman getting his butt kicked by a draft pick every single day was so valuable. But like that has been a treat for me because I just see him affect our practice. When I mentioned earlier about the effort in which we need to play, how hard the guys play every single day, he's been one in the last 2 practices that's shown up quite a bit. A guy catches a ball, intermediate world, he's trying to turn and run after catch, and who's trailing him behind him trying to throw a block. But Oakley, he's a pretty big body, so. But yeah, he's been tremendous. Really, all those guys have been really awesome, and it gives us. I think we're well fortified from I think one of the things about Coach's offense that's so awesome is just the multiplicity and how varied you can be in personnel group, in formation, and in operation. There's just a lot of different ways the thing could look, and those guys give us some flexibility there.